Hi everyone, this is Shanti bringing you another episode of Shanti Fine Arts. Today we are going to do another mermaid painting for Mermay, and today we are going to work with watercolors. And I have my palette here where I have 4 different kinds of blue: Prussian, cobalt, ultramarine, and cerulean blue. And I also have indigo and a little bit of viridian green. These are the main colors that I will be using in this painting. After drawing that mermaid's body out, I am wetting the entire paper, and I'm using a hot press watercolor paper here. Everything is listed below in the video description, so you can check out all the materials that I'm using. So I wetted the whole surface of the paper, and then I am starting to apply cerulean blue color all over. Note that the brush strokes are going in a rounded fashion so that it can denote the circular motion of water underwater. And I am leaving a little bit of a part completely white. This is going to be my location of light. This is where the light is coming through from above the water. Now while the paint is still completely dry, I am now adding some more paint, and this time I'm mixing some ultramarine blue with my cerulean blue. And note that I am not trying to blend all of the brush strokes. I am putting them wet on wet so that some of the elements stay, some of the brush strokes stay. However, the very hard edges do not stay. They are kind of blending back into the background, in the already wet background behind. And I am varying the color intensity a lot. I'm adding sometimes a little bit of cobalt blue, sometimes a little bit of Prussian blue. Sometimes I'm adding in a little bit of viridian green at certain areas. So I'm varying the color intensity of my brush strokes, keeping some of the ripple effects smaller, some a lot bigger. And the variation is very key to this kind of a painting. Otherwise, it would look very boring and definitely not realistic. Now I'm adding a lot more of my Prussian and cobalt blues and mixing in a lot of viridian green with it for the corners. And you can see already that looks a lot darker. However, in case of watercolor, always remember that watercolor dries a lot lighter than what it goes on. So whatever you're looking at right now, once it dries, it would be much lighter in color. So if you want very bright colors, go in layers and add a little bit less water and have more of color pigments and less of water. So those are the two important things you should remember when you're trying to get very dark, bright colors with watercolor. So I'm just continuing the same thing all over the painting. Note that I'm still keeping that rounded motion, so there is no straight lines here. They're all curved lines here all around. And the corners of this painting would be especially dark. Now at this point, some of the areas have kind of dried and the others are more moist. In the dry areas, I'm adding a little bit of smaller ripples, and since they are dry, they're not going to blend in the background and stay just like that and give you the illusion of ripples, and they will stand out and look really pretty. However, we do not want these harsh lines all over the painting. We want a lot of it to get blended into the background and some of it to stay out. This contrast of colors and this contrast of smaller and bigger ripples, and the ones that have blended out and the ones that has sharp edges, is what is going to create the visual interest. So always remember that circular fashion and color intensity and varying the color intensity and making those areas kind of, some areas blurry and some areas very sharp in the ripple marks. That is key to making this painting look nice. And surprisingly, like this painting, when you finish it off, you will see that it looks amazingly beautiful. However, it is very, very easy, something that any beginner can also do. Now I'm starting to paint on my Mermaid Silhouette. What I'm doing is I have mixed a pretty dark color, which is a mix of blue. Obviously, I'm using a lot of blues here. So there is Prussian and cobalt blue in this mix, and it is decently dark. However, this is not going to work out if I'm going to create a silhouette. So I am going to come back with an additional darker layer where I'm going to mix in a lot of indigo, which is very close to black. So it's going to make it a lot darker. If you do not have indigo, do not worry about it. Just add a little bit of Prussian blue, add a little bit of black, and that will work. If required, add a little bit of brown to your paint, but do not add too much, but that will dull the blue color a lot. So be a little bit careful on how much black or brown you're adding, and then just make it really, really dark, or rather as dark as you want it to be. Create the contrast, that is more important. Some areas light against the darker areas is actually what creates the visual interest, and that is all about this painting. It is that simple, that easy to create such an amazing underwater scene with a surreal mermaid. I hope you like this painting. If you did, do not forget to give me a thumbs up because it means the whole world to me, and share it with all your friends who would like to paint a similar simple painting, and do not forget to subscribe. Thank you.